Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live on the America's Pulse Network. We are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. We have some major breaking news stories. The first one, the House of Representatives finally did the job and listened to we the people. They passed a bill today which codifies one of Doge's laws. It's something that Elon Musk talked about, cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse. They finally codified Doge by eliminating $9.4 billion of unnecessary wasteful spending that cuts out the funding of PBS and NPR. This is a big thing for President Trump. Thank God that this was passed. Thank you, Speaker Johnson, for listening to President Trump, J.D. Vance, we the people, Elon Musk. This was a very important step to continuing to codify Doge. Now we need to codify President Trump's executive orders. What did President Trump do today in the Oval Office? He signed a very important bill eliminating the fact that California was the first state to say we're going to have all electronic cars in 2035. President Trump signed the bill cutting that. We have to have fossil fuels. We have to have gas. We have to be energy independent again. The issue is that the average American cannot afford an electronic car. Some of those electronic cars, such as Tesla, can be $100,000 plus, which the average American cannot afford. Also, with electronic cars, you have to charge them every 2 hours. Unless you live in Sweden, where they personally have built a street, or they built a street when you're on the right side of the road or the left side of the road, your car automatically charges when you drive. And guess who created that technology? Israel did. Israel created that type of technology for Sweden, but we don't have that type of technology here in the United States of America. United States of America, we rely on our gas. We rely on cars that need gas in order to go. I don't have a Tesla. I have a gas that requires, I have a car that requires gas. I drive an American-made car, and it's wonderful when I fill my car up with gas. Guess what? I can drive 5 hours without refilling. It's amazing. So thank you, President Trump, for that. Thank you. Fabulous. Maryland, let me tell you, the state of Maryland is next on the list. Governor Wes Moore, he's been pushing, and so is Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott. They've also been pushing to get rid of cars that require gas and to do mandatory electric cars. It's not going to happen. First of all, again, average American can't afford it, and it makes your state go broke. The state of Maryland is broke. The state of California is going broke. So thank you, President Trump, for that. Also, major breaking news. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was in California today talking about what's going on with the LA riots. U.S. Senator of California, Alex Padilla, thought it would be okay to literally lunge close to the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. You can actually see the video. It's all over TikTok. It's all over X. It's all over Facebook. You can actually follow me, Alexandra Levine. I reposted. You can follow Tim Fazenbaker. He reposted it as well and shared it all over his Facebook. And you can follow at America's Pulse Network on X. We also reposted the video. First of all, the U.S. Senator didn't identify who he was when he first came in. He didn't say, hi, I'm the United States Senator, Alex Padilla. He just walked right in. He started screaming. He lunged at her. Thank God for the Secret Service protecting her. They stopped him. They actually did take him to the ground because he was lunging. It looked like he was posing himself as a threat towards her. And I can tell you, Kristi Noem is a badass. She would have kicked his ass if he would have even approached her podium. But thank you for Secret Service. Thank you for law enforcement. Thank you for the FBI for holding this crazy United States Senator back. He was arrested for what he did. Then after they yanked him out of the room, Kristi Noem actually spoke with him 15 minutes later after the press conference and exchanged phone numbers. She said, hey, my door's always open. I'm always open to talking to people in Congress. There's no problem. You don't have to be an asshole about it. And that's what he was. He was a total asshole about it. And again, he's defending criminal illegals. He's defending these anti-ICE riders that are looting, they're shooting, they're burning American flags, they're destroying private property, they're putting cars on fire, they're lighting up people on fire, they're burning American flags, and they're holding up Mexican flags and Palestinian flags in America. This is happening in LA. It's disgusting. It is very disgusting. And on Saturday, June 14th, this organization called No Kings has already said they're going to have all these anti-ICE protests all over the country to hurt President Trump's American flag or Flag Day celebration parade that he's doing. And it's also on his birthday, his 79th birthday. Why are these damn Democrats, why are these anti-ICE pro-Palestinian groups, why are they doing this on Flag Day? Why are they doing this on President Trump's birthday? Can't they just leave the man alone? Let him have a good birthday. Let us celebrate 250 years. Let us celebrate the American flag. It's disgusting what's happening now in this country. And George Soros is behind it. As I said last night on The Pulse, the only way to combat these groups is to create groups that are the opposite, that are 20 to 30 times more people than these groups. As I said, Robert Kraft is a billionaire, Bill Ackerman, all these billionaires that support Donald Trump should be forming groups, pro-Israel groups, pro-ICE groups, pro-law enforcement groups to combat this. Tim Fazenmaker and I were brand ambassadors for a nationwide organization that was created by our friend Melissa Roby called We Back Blue. It is a nationwide organization that supports the police, memorializes the fallen. She has done Melissa Roby has done phenomenally well in organizing this organization and making sure that the police are taken care of. We need more. We need to extend that more to support our police. I've done pro-Israel rallies. I've done rallies to release the hostages. We need more of those groups to come together with us. We need more and more, a plethora. We need to combat the CARES and the Jewish Voices for Peace and all of these Muslim Brotherhood groups. We can do it. There are people out there that have the money to do it. Do not be afraid to do it. I'm tired of people saying, well, George Soros has a lot of money. Where does he get his money? Guess what? There's people out there that have a lot of money too. There are billionaires out there too that can combat this. But I strongly, firmly believe, and I hope to God that George Soros ends up in jail with his son, Alex Soros. I really do. With Huma Abedin, who's Alex Soros' fiance. She's disgusting. She was involved with a lot of crap. She worked for Hillary Clinton. She was Hillary Clinton's literally right-hand woman. And her ex-husband was Anthony Weiner. And we know about the Weiner laptop, the laptop from hell. Or excuse me, well, that's Hunter Biden's a laptop from hell, but they're both laptops from hell. And there's a lot of crap on there. Hillary Clinton lied and said, oh, there's just stuff on Anthony Weiner's laptop about my daughter's wedding and my yoga classes. And we all know that was BS. So all these people need to go to jail. All these people need to go to jail. I said it last night. Any lawmaker that goes against we the people, that is for these illegals, these illegal criminals, need to go to jail. Enough is enough. There's a Democrat congresswoman from New Jersey. She could serve 17 years in jail for lunging an ICE agent at one of the ICE detention centers in Newark, New Jersey. The mayor who's running for governor of New Jersey, he was arrested too for combating ICE agents. I'm glad that ICE agents, law enforcement, Border Patrol, Thomas Homan, Kristi Noem are taking the steps to stop this crap. We also have a Combat Anti-Semitism Council, which is led by my friend Leo Terrell, led by many other Jewish people on the council, including my good friend Stephen Miller, who's the deputy chief of staff to President Trump. Love Stephen Miller. # that's my Jew. It's time, guys. It's time for law and order. All of these protests that are happening have to do with George Soros' plan of total anarchy and a global takeover. This has to do with the New World Order. This is the introduction to it. They have been forming this for 5+ years now. That is what George Soros wants. Open borders, no law and order, illegals taking over our country, illegals having health care, all of us having the same amount of money, the same everything. It's disgusting. It's very disgusting. But also another breaking news that's very important that we need to talk about is certain Democrat governors were in front of congressional hearings today. Democrat governor from Minnesota, Tim Walz, that moron, New York governor, Karen Hochul, and the Illinois governor. Now, the Illinois governor and Karen Hochul have both been sued and charged by Attorney General Pam Bondi. There's both the state of Illinois and the state of New York have been sued by Pam Bondi. Tim Walz, as you know, he allowed his state of Minnesota to burn during the George Floyd riots. He also was okay with watching Minneapolis burn to the ground. His wife had the audacity to say, I put my window down and I saw the ashes. She didn't do anything to help. But what was disgusting today is that Democratic lawmakers, Democratic congressmen, they called ICE agents Gestapo. They compared them to modern day Nazis. Now, let me tell you something. My family survived the Holocaust. My family were legal citizens of their country. The Nazis and Hitler made them illegals and treated them as such. You cannot compare what happened to Nazi Germany to what's happening today. The illegals in this country are getting better treatment than my family did in the Holocaust. For Congresswoman Veronica Escobar from El Paso, Texas, to say, welcome to El Paso, this is the new Ellis Island, it is a slap in the face to Holocaust survivors. For any congressman to keep bringing up D-Day, bringing up Normandy, bringing up that my family fought the Nazis, and to say that ICE agents are Nazis, that starts more evil. And it just propels these anti-ICE riders to hurt ICE agents and Border Patrol even more. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. We have Democrat lawmakers comparing ICE agents, people that are sworn to protect American citizens, that are sworn to get rid of illegals, criminal illegals, people that cross our country, our border illegally, drug cartels, sex traffickers, human traffickers, child traffickers. It's very important that we support ICE, that we say to law enforcement, to firefighters, to military, to first responders, thank them for their service. It is a volunteer position. They're sacrificing their lives for us. They don't have to do this. But for Democratic lawmakers to not support our men and women is disgusting and asinine. They should all be removed from office. Do not wait till their re-elections. Just have them go to jail. I think that's why President Trump wants to open up Alcatraz, but all these morons in jail. You support illegal criminals, you should be going to jail. Again, what I said last night on the Pulse, what Congresswoman Maxine Waters is doing is she's going against the oath that she took. She's going against the Constitution of this United States. That's why I encourage everybody, and I'll say it later in the program, to go to the parade in D.C., if you are in D.C., June 14th, to celebrate America, to not be afraid, to not stay home, to wear your American flag, to hold it up high, and to wear your American flag dress and be happy that you're an American. Do not let these anti-American, anti-ICE, pro-Hamas people tell you what to do and tell you what's up. Do not be afraid. We fought wars for a reason. So we fly that American flag. 250 years our country was created. We had the military first. That's why there was such an horrendous applause when President Trump went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Tuesday night. Again, massive breaking news today. But I want the message tonight is, the main message is, don't forget who you are. Don't forget you're an American. If you are an American, you were born in this country, you fight and you die for this country, regardless if you serve our military or not. That is the message. Turning into segment one, everybody was like, inflation, inflation, inflation. Well, guess what? We had some great numbers coming out, especially on Monday. Leading report, first segment. Leading report said, breaking, inflation numbers are below expectations, surprising economists who had predicted that President Trump's tariffs would cause economic problems. Well, we talked about that on my show Tuesday night with Joseph Lombardi, how inflation numbers are going down, and President Trump has called Jerome Powell to remove himself from the Federal Reserve. I can tell you, President Trump, his goal is to remove the Federal Reserve. The more President Trump is pushing these tariffs, the more our economy is better. We go to slide 2, talking about the CPI numbers. Slide 2. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Under President Trump, America is defeating inflation. That's correct. Now go to slide 3, CPI numbers. There we go. CPI just out. Great numbers. Fed should lower 1 full point. Would pay much less interest on debt coming soon. So important. Again, that's President Trump telling Jerome Powell to lower the goddamn inflation. I can tell you, I'm going to the grocery store. I used to spend $100, $140, $150 on groceries. It's below $100 now because of President Trump. I go to grocery stores now. I spend $39, $60, and I get a lot more for my money. I'm very happy about it. Very happy. Thank you, President Trump, for that. Now we go into slide 4 about the tariffs. Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me, full magnets, and any necessary rare earths will be supplied upfront by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities, parentheses, which has always been good with me. We are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10% tariffs, which means they're going to be taxed, which means we're not getting nothing. They're actually have to pay their fair share this time. Relationship is excellent. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Again, everyone was like, oh, China's knocking on our door. President Trump has done extensive work with President Xi on making sure that we have a fair trade agreement with him and that the tariff agreement is fair. This shows you right away what Joseph Lombardi said the other night, that tariffs work. They're lowering the inflation. They're lowering the cost of things. Everyone's like, oh my God, tariffs. No, this had to be done because they were taxed. China was taxing the hell out of us and there was no reciprocation. Now we're going to tax the hell out of them. We'll tariff the hell out of them if they break their agreements. This is a very good thing. Again, President Trump is the master negotiator. He has he's got so many hotels and resorts outside of this country. He's worked with China before. He said one of his biggest clients is Bank of America from China. He's had that client for years. He talked about that when he first ran for office. He knows how to talk to these people. He knows how to get the job done. Again, you must trust his process. You must trust his system. And once we pass the big, beautiful bill, you'll start to see things get even lower with the massive tax cuts that are going to be happening. And then we have the final slide, @Real Donald Trump. Talks about a federal appeals court has just ruled, so they took it up to the federal appeals court, that the United States can use tariffs to protect itself against other countries. A great and important win for the U.S. That is huge. A federal appeals court. Because remember, they kept combating Trump. Federal appeals court, they took it to the federal appeals court, ruled that the United States can use tariffs to protect itself against other countries. So everybody that keeps, bitching, we shouldn't have tariffs, tariffs are bad. Guess what? Federal appeals court said it's fine. President Trump can use these tariffs to protect America against other countries such as China, such as Russia, Ukraine, etc. It's a very important thing for the country. President Trump keeps winning every day on the numbers. The jobs numbers are phenomenal. The best they've been in years. We have more manufacturing jobs. We have more people getting back to work. DEI is gone. Pete Hegseth said that today when he was in front of Congress at a congressional hearing. He said DEI is dead. They're not hiring people based on their skin color. They're hiring people based on merit. That's how it should be. My poor friend in New Jersey, she's a legal citizen. She was born in New Jersey. She hasn't been able to get a job in 5 years because why? They've been giving her jobs to illegals. And she's an NYU graduate with a master's degree. I have a lot of friends with master's degrees that don't have full-time jobs. A lot of their jobs were cut through COVID and even before that. Under Barack Hussein Obama, a lot of my friends lost their jobs, a lot of investment bankers. It's been very hard for them to catch up. Now, America is back and booming. And guess what? We're going to have a lot more Americans that are going to be in the farm industry. I have friends that own farms, Americans. They don't want to give jobs to illegals. They want Americans working on their farms. Or I have friends that work on their own farms. Because guess what? They get the job done better. They know their farms better than anyone else. And they don't have to pay these illegals all this freaking money and they're not doing the job. We have so much opportunity and growth now because of President Trump and J.D. Vance, because of the Trump administration. And he hasn't even been there for a year yet. He has been moving and moving and moving. There is so much going on in the White House. As a White House correspondent for this network, I mean, the news just comes like this. And I report it as fast as I can. A lot of people can't handle it. It's like they say, I have other reporters around me, like, it's too much. I can't handle it. I can't do it. But guess what? President Trump means business. So does his wife. So does the people that are working for him. It's very important, guys, that President Trump continues this pathway forward for for the next couple of years, for the next 4 years. And if you really support President Trump, if you're a real conservative, you will back him, you will stand beside him, and you will watch the beauty of what he is going to do for this country, because he's not looking at it for 4 years. He's looking at it for a long time. Coming up after the break, we have a special guest. Her name is Yocheved Ruttenberg. She is the founder and CEO of Sword of Iron Israel Volunteer Corps. She's got a lot of insight into what's going on over in the Middle East. As you know, Israel is possibly looking to go into war with Iran. We will talk about that right after the break. Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did. And hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We have a special guest tonight. Her name is Yocheved Ruttenberg. She's the founder and CEO of Sword of Iron Israel Volunteer Corps. She made Aliyah, which means she permanently has moved her life from America to Israel. She currently lives in Israel. She's here visiting DC right now, and she has some great insight into her organization and what's going on in Israel today. Let's bring her up. Hey, girl, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, even though I have my phone up with Telegram as we speak, checking all of the news and seeing what's going on in Israel. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want, you can tell us right now what's going on in Israel. Just give us a quick update.
Iran is currently attacking Israel. Everybody is waiting on Home Front Command to let them know what to do. They're saying stay near bomb shelters. And I just want to say the craziest thing about all of this is that we still have volunteers that say, I don't care what's happening. I'm still coming over there, and I'm still coming to Israel to volunteer from around the world. This doesn't scare people away from Israel. If anything, it makes people want to get up and go do something and be there with their brothers and sisters over in Israel even more. And I just have to give a huge shout out to all of those people who are so resilient and do not give in to fear, and they have fear over faith, and they're continuing to show up for the state of Israel.
Thank you so much for saying that. Tell us a little bit about your life. You were living in America, and then I guess you went over to Israel. You were only supposed to be there for, I guess, a couple of weeks, but then you canceled your return trip and you decided to permanently move to Israel. Tell us about that venture.
Absolutely. So I was living in Dallas, Texas prior to October 7th, working in construction sales, going door to door selling roofing in Dallas, Texas in the middle of the summer. And my older brother was living in Israel. He was actually in the Special Forces, and he was supposed to be releasing after 5 years and coming to Texas. We were going to start a business together prior to October 7th, and then October 7th happened. And he drove straight to the south and was fighting by early afternoon. I couldn't function. I woke up on the 7th. I couldn't believe what was going on. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I think I have to go to Israel. And she said to me, if you don't go to Israel, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And that was all I needed to hear. So I booked my flight, raised a bunch of money, flew with 23 massive duffel bags full of supplies for what was supposed to only be a 2-week trip. And then 3 days before my return flight, I called my job and I quit, and I ended up staying. And I'm now an Israeli citizen with a passport, and it's such an honor to be doing this work. I founded an organization called Sword of Iron Israel Volunteer Corps, and we centralize all volunteering efforts in Israel since October 7th and focus on bridging the gaps between communities.
That is globally amazing. That is just such a mitzvah, a good deed, what you're doing. Let me ask you, how were you able to raise the money to go over to Israel and do what you're doing now?
So actually going over to Israel the first time was totally self-funded. It was just a trip. I actually went on points on my credit card. And now we're an organization, we're growing, we're raising money every single day. And it's a full-time, it's more than a full-time job for me. I mean, I work on this 6 days a week, except for Shabbat, 6 days a week, 18 hours a day, 18 to 20 hours a day. I'm working on this. This is all I think about. This is my entire life. I've decided to dedicate my life to the state of Israel and the Jewish people and doing everything I can to support them and support the mission. And so, it's a job just like anything else. I'm responsible for an entire organization and people around the world. Thankfully, for an entire organization and people around the world. Thankfully, we've been very successful and we have a lot of.
So let me ask you, what is, the vetting process behind who you bring in to help you volunteer from all over the world?
So think of us almost like a marketplace for volunteering opportunities. We don't actually match volunteers to the opportunities. We give them all of the options so that they can choose. I'm a really big believer in people having the ability to make decisions for themselves, because I think that encourages people to, take more initiative and really give their all into it. And so when people are joining our Facebook page or they're joining our website and they're getting access to all of our resources and our marketplace, there is a vetting process. They have to give us when they're signing up for our website, they have to give us information. They need to go through an entire process to get approved. We have a whole team of volunteers around the world that go through each and every single Facebook account before we allow them to enter into the group. And they have to check and go through a vetting process and make sure that they are a real person, that they're not a bot. And I will tell you, we are very quick with the block button. We do not tolerate any hate. We do not tolerate any disrespect. We definitely don't tolerate any pro-Palestinians. And thank God we've had a very strong and active community for the last year and a half. And there's so much more.
Let me ask you, Yocheved, because you see there's such a rise in anti-Semitism in the United States. And now we see with all these riots in LA, we have people holding up. What's your about that?
I have some pretty strong opinions about that. What I will say is that, I don't know when it became cool to hate the Jews. I don't think it's cool to hate the Jews. I think that these are just people that are very lost and don't understand really how the world is working. For them to be, rioting against Israel, they don't understand what's actually happening. Half of them don't even know where Israel is on a map. And they're screaming from the river to the sea. They don't know which river. They don't know which sea. And when they're screaming free Palestine, what they should be saying is free Palestine from Hamas. And they're not. And they're missing that key message. And I think that's a message that we have to continue to put out there. But I'm a really big believer in strengthening ourselves from within. So I think that you're never going to be able to stop people from hating on you. You're never going to be able to stop negativity. But what you can do is you can focus on strengthening your community. You can focus on your brothers and sisters. You can focus on the people around you, and you can get up and you can do what you can and not sit back and just complain, but you can actually step up and take action. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what I encourage. Inspiration is contagious. And so we do everything that we can to continue to push the narrative of the volunteers that are on the ground every single day, that are fighting in their own way to protect Israel and help the country heal. And the country needs as many people as they can coming and helping and giving and supporting. It's so much more than even just the volunteering. The country does need the volunteering. They need the hands-on volunteers, and they need everybody in the field and packing and cooking and doing all kinds of things for the country. But more importantly, we need to be showing up for the Israelis on the ground and showing up for the IDF, for our amazing Chayalim that are on the ground every single day fighting to protect Western civilization in the Middle East. And by showing up to Israel and by saying, I'm here and I'm standing with you in the middle of a war and nothing is going to keep me away and I'm standing side by side with you, that is the message that we are sending to them, and we have to continue to do that.
Yocheved, what do you think about Greta Thunberg getting a ship with a bunch of guys wearing, kafife scarves, trying to go to Gaza to, quote, help their cause? And then, of course, the IDF usurped their ship. What do you think about idiots like Greta Thunberg that go and do that?
I think it's so disrespectful for the people that are actually suffering under Hamas regime. I think it's making a joke out of the people that really are suffering every single day. I think two things can be true at the same time, right? The people in Israel deserve to have a safe country. The Jews deserve to have a state. And at the same time, I can feel very bad and sorry for what is happening in Gaza to the innocent people who are at the mercy of Hamas. And Israel is doing everything that they can to get rid of Hamas. And Greta Thunberg showing up on a boat just to do a whole PR stunt is so disrespectful to all the people that are not getting aid because Hamas is stealing the aid. It's so disrespectful to all the women that have zero rights over there. And every single day, it is a blessing that they are still alive and that they are safe. I mean, they're not safe, but it's a blessing that they are alive and that they're with their family, some of them. And, for Greta to be on a ship and to just be doing this crazy PR stunt and saying that she's bringing aid with 10 boxes of who knows what flour is so disrespectful. There are people, I don't know.
No,
I think that's enough said.
I thank you for saying that. As a woman to woman, I agree with you on that. And of course, she lied and said that she was kidnapped by the IDF, which we know that didn't happen. And also, as I said last night, by her coming over there, it just causes more havoc. It just causes more tension for the IDF. They don't want to deal with this. They don't want to deal with her. And when they found out it was her, they're like, oh my God, her? We got to deal with her. But like they knew how to deal with her. But of course, she lied about how they dealt with her.
Yeah. And if anybody's ever been to Israel and you've actually interacted with the people of Israel and you have seen them, they're the most loving, caring people in the world. They will give their shirt off their back to a stranger. So to even make that statement publicly, she's just trying to save herself. Let me ask you, Yocheved,
because what I talked about in breaking news, we had Democratic lawmakers that were calling ICE agents Gestapo. They're comparing them to modern day Nazis. Then they were comparing the Holocaust to ICE agents. What say you about that? Isn't that ridiculous and asinine?
Again, I think that to even compare such a thing, you can't compare apples to oranges. You cannot compare. Like, that is just taking away the absolute horror that the Jewish people went through during the Holocaust. And I think it's very disrespectful to even start to make comments of that. And, I don't know. I don't understand really why we're even in this situation and why it's okay to even publicly be making these comments about Jews and about the Holocaust. We went through something horrific back then. The Holocaust was one of the most horrific atrocities to happen to the Jewish people. And yet then October 7th happened again. And it's still not getting the attention that it deserves. There are still so many stories that are not being told in the media, and the picture that they're painting is horrific. And to be comparing such a thing, I think is so disrespectful to the people that lost their lives, to the families that were pulled apart. And it makes me really sad to hear that people are.
And it's not just, it is everyday people saying that, but it's lawmakers that are saying that, which is even more disgusting because, as you know, Israel's our biggest ally. As someone that serves Congress, they should be standing and supporting their biggest ally, Israel. And for them to, like you said, to compare ICE agents to Nazi Germany, to Gestapo, to the Nazis is just totally out of line and asinine. Let me ask you one question, because my co-host Damon Galda from the Jersey Shore, he asked this last night on the Pulse, and I thought this was very interesting. He said, how can we combat these George Soros groups? How in America, how can we combat the CARES and the Jewish Voices for Peace and all of these big groups? How can we put George Soros in jail? And one thing I suggested is people like Bob Kraft, people like Bill Ackerman that are billionaires, to form bigger groups than CARE, bigger groups than Jewish Voices of Peace or Jewish Voices for Peace, to combat the crap that's going on here in America. So my question to you is, what would be your strategy to try to combat the George Soros funded groups, CARE, the Muslim Brotherhood, Jewish Voices for Peace, et cetera, here at home in America?
I think we have to continue to live in the truth and show the world who the Jewish people are. I think that we have to continue to stand by Israel and strengthen it every single day and speak up on social media. I think we need to stop sharing all the anti-Semitism and all the crap that's on the internet, and we need to start sharing all the good that's coming out of the country. You're never going to be able to, like I said earlier, you're never going to be able to get people to stop talking. People are always going to find a reason to hate. The country is so divided right now, both in Israel and in the States. There's just so much division happening in the world right now. And I think in order to be able to combat that, it starts from us. It starts from our own community. It starts from strengthening ourselves. And then it is up to the people that have the power to stand up and say, you want to be on the right side of history, and this is the right side of history. And we need to be educating people on what's actually happening. And we need to be having more conversations and not talking at each other, but talking with each other, because I think that there is more common ground than we even realize. And if people are open to conversation and they're open to saying, educate me, tell me, teach me, then I think we can maybe start to come together, actually have conversations with people. I think we're in for a long, bumpy ride.
I agree with you. Yocheved, we only have 1 minute left of this segment. Tell my viewers how they can follow you, and tell people how they can get involved with your organization. Because I have a lot of friends, Jewish friends, even non-Jewish friends, that want to go over to Israel and help and volunteer. How can they be involved?
Guys, follow us on social media. We're on social media, Sword, as in one sword, SWORD, Sword of Iron, Israel Volunteer Opportunities on Facebook. Israel Volunteer Opportunities is our website, and then swordofiron.israelvolunteer is our Instagram. Guys, get involved. We need all the hands that we can get. We need Jews, non-Jews, anybody that loves Israel and wants to support the state of Israel and the Jewish people. Get involved, step up, come to Israel. I'll leave you guys with one quick message that my mom said to me. If you don't go to Israel, you will regret it for the rest of your life. You are taking part in history. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And I can concur with her. I've been to Israel twice. I've been offered to come there many times. I will be going there again very soon. And Israel is a very special and beautiful place. You feel God there. It is one of the only countries in the nation where you can celebrate Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all together. I witnessed that. I saw Christmas and Hanukkah and Ramadan all in the same place. And it's such a beautiful place, and you feel God's presence, whoever you believe in. And I agree with you. I encourage anybody, Jewish or non-Jewish, to go visit Israel. If you want to make that leap of faith and permanently move and live in Israel, I applaud anybody who does that. I've been asked to do that myself. So thank you so much, Yocheved, for what you do. You are doing God's work. You're doing Hashem's work. We say Shabbat Shalom to you. We want you to be safe. When are you going back to Israel? Or maybe you won't be able to go back because of what's
Shabbat
going
on.
Shalom.
Yes.
So we hope that you get back.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. I need to be on my flight.
I know. Kenahara. When are you planning on flying back?
Saturday night is my flight.
Well, I hope safe journey. I hope that you're able to get back to Israel, to your new homeland. Thank you so much. You are more than welcome to come on my show anytime and tell us updates about what's going on in Israel and what's going on with your organization. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Alexandra.
You're welcome. And we'll be right back right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live on the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with Alexandra Levine. We are still waiting for someone from the White House to come out and tell us what transpired between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on that call today. We are here live at the White House. We're waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to come out and tell us about the updates of today, the call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, what transpired in that call.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
And hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We just had an amazing guest, Yocheved Ruttenberg. I just want to reemphasize, you can follow her on Sword of Iron Israel volunteer opportunities. Anybody can go, Jewish or non-Jewish. I encourage everybody to go to Israel, to volunteer for her organization, or to do something. And I love her because she's got some great insight into what's going on in Israel. Again, cut out the propaganda. If you want to know what's going on, talk to people that are literally living in Israel. And Yocheved, she's a permanent resident now of the state of Israel. If you want to know what's going on, if you want some insight, go to her organization, Sword of Iron Israel Volunteer Opportunities. Now, segment 3 discusses Flag Day and so much more. As I talked about earlier in the segment, Flag Day is this Saturday, June 14th. President Trump is planning a huge parade at the White House and in D.C. starting at 6:30 at night, all the way till 9:30 and beyond. I encourage everybody to attend this parade. Now, I know there's an organization called No Kings, which is forming anti-ICE, anti-American protests all nationwide. And the people are the people of the organization are idiots because they actually told everybody where they're raising their havoc. It's actually a good thing because it gives the governors of the states a heads up on how to handle these vigilantes and delinquents. I've also encouraged President Trump and his team to already put people in place before Saturday so that there isn't any havoc or any casualties. We don't want anybody dying on his birthday. I can tell you my Governor Ron DeSantis down in Florida, he's like, bring it on. He is ready. He's got local law enforcement. He's got state police. He's got the National Guard, if need be, ready to tackle any of these morons. My governor also said on Laura Ingraham last night that if a delinquent anti-ICE guy comes in front of your car and is stopping you from getting to your next destination, you have the right to run them over. He believes in the Second Amendment. You have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to bear arms. As you know, Florida is the 27 states have constitutional carry. God bless Governor DeSantis for signing that bill. But it's very important, again, that we do protect ourselves. If you are in a state where you can be armed, or if you have constitutional carry, open carry, if you were able to get a concealed carry, please use it wisely. I don't want anybody getting hurt on June 14th. The No Kings organization is trying to stop us Americans from celebrating the American flag in the 250 years of us being a country. I can tell you that the military will be present. Marines will be present if need be. And like I said, the National Guard will be called on multiple different states by multiple different governors if need be. But again, do not be afraid. I've said this to Jewish people all over the country. Wear your Jewish stars. Don't take the mezuzahs off the doorposts of your homes. Wear your kippahs. I've encouraged Christians to continue wearing their crosses. Do not let them take your religion away from you. Do not let them take your identity away from you. They want you to be afraid. They want you to be scared. They want you to kneel and yield and do what they say. They're socialists. They're insurrectionists. There was also a guy on TikTok who actually posted a video stating that he was propositioned by the people that were running the No Kings organization to just come out and protest and start havoc. And he said to the guys, he said, well, what am I doing? He's like, you're just protesting. You're just going against ICE. You're going against President Trump. It's just a protest. And we're paying you $200 for the full day. Now, there are some people out there that are suckers that will take the money. It's tax-free money. But the question is, where are they getting that money from? Where is it funded? Well, we found out that this organization, Chira, they're funding it. This pro-Palestinian organization is funding it. It's the same organization that Elias Rodriguez was a part of. He was the guy that murdered 2 innocent people in DC a few weeks ago. And we have to do everything we can to report these delinquents and vigilantes to ICE, to DHS. And there is a hotline. It's a 24/7 tip line, 866-DHS2 ICE. That's 866-DHS2 ICE. You can call them anytime, 24/7 hotline. If you see somebody suspicious, if you think that person is an illegal, if the person told you they're an illegal, call the number and have them permanently removed, and they will be removed. But as I said before, President Trump was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Tuesday night with a standing ovation from the military. Let's put up the first slide. So I'll paraphrase it. Standing here before you today, I am more confident than ever that the days ahead and every generation to come, the U.S. Army will heap glory upon glory. You will summons inexhaustible courage. You will protect every inch of U.S. soil, and you will defend America to the ends of the earth. Now, I can tell you there is more people that are being recruited to the military more than ever. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said that today at his congressional hearing, that more people want to join the military because of President Trump, because of Pete Hegseth. And again, Pete Hegseth said DEI is dead. He is recruiting people based on merit. He's recruiting the right people. He's not having the military, or I should say the taxpayers and the military, pay for transgender surgeries. If you want to be a transgender, you, the person, pay for it yourself, not on taxpayer dimes. And it's very important that we have a strong military. That's what Pete Hegseth talks about. That's why he's the Secretary of Defense, because he says we have one of the strongest militaries in the world, if not the strongest. We need to be stronger. We need to do better. We need to do more. That's why the big, beautiful bill is so important, because it provides more resources for the military. It provides more money for DHS and ICE. It provides ICE and Border Patrol to hire competent people, to hire proper people, people that love our country, people that will not break the law, that understand the law. And again, President Trump gave an amazing speech talking about Francis Scott Key in the War of 1812, how Francis Scott Key wrote on the bridge, the Francis Scott Key Memorial Bridge, which no longer exists. Remember, it was taken down last year by the Davos ship. But he talked about how Francis Scott Key, what did he do that night? He wrote the Star Spangled Banner. It's in 4 verses, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows that. I hope you all know that. Of course, we all sing it. I've sung the first stanza many, many times at many events. But he had an 8th generation descendant of Francis Scott Key at Fort Bragg on Tuesday night. And the military loves President Trump. The military loves Pete Hegseth. And they love J.D. Vance as well. J.D. Vance also served the military. We go to the second slide, where President Trump talks about celebrating our country. There you go. I'll paraphrase it. It goes, this year, American flags will never fall because America's army will never, ever fail. This has to do with the foreshadow to June 14th, to Saturday night. Again, I want everybody to celebrate America. If you're an American citizen, you should be happy to be an American citizen. You should not be afraid to wave the American flag. Again, President Trump has said anybody that burns the American flag will go to jail and they will be fined millions of dollars. He actually revoked his executive order where he said anybody that burns the American flag or desecrates a statue, a Confederate statue, will serve up to 10 years in federal prison. Remember, Joe Biden, he reversed that executive order. The minute Trump got back in, he put it back. He signed it back he signed the executive order again. But the fact that anybody would destroy the American flag, a Confederate statue, that is history. Whether you support the Confederacy or not, it's still history. And President Trump wants to rename these forts what they rightfully were. Again, there's kids in this country that don't know the history. They don't know about Gettysburg. They don't know about Chancellorsburg. They don't know anything about our history. They don't know who Stonewall Jackson is. They don't know who Longstreet was. They don't even know who Ulysses S. Grant was, that he became a president. They don't know anything. They don't even know the year of the Declaration of Independence. So if you start getting rid of these Confederate statues, if you start erasing our history and prompting up anti-ICE and pro-Hamas people and saying that Israel is committing genocide against innocent people, that's propaganda and that's reverse history. If you eliminate the Holocaust from your history class and only teach a week of it, that's reversing history. Not reversing, that's eliminating history and pushing CRT and gender identity, which is made up, by the way. It's make-believe. It's not even a real curriculum. It's BS. That will not help you get a job, by the way. When you know history, it helps you get the job. When you know economics, that helps you get a job. When the kids in schools cannot read, write, and don't know arithmetic, it's a problem. And it's happening all over the country. And it's happening in a lot of these sanctuary counties, sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, where the kids don't learn. Just letting you know, my friends from Newsmax said, breaking news, Israel has begun preemptive strikes on Iran. Israel declares a state of emergency. I can tell you that I have friends currently in Israel now and family. They knew this was coming. I want to send my prayers out to my friends and family that are in Israel right now, that are in their bomb shelters. Please, God, be safe. I hope to God that you can come back to America, because I have a lot of friends that are visiting Israel right now that don't permanently live. And to my family that permanently live in Israel, please, for the love of God, be safe. And of course, we say our prayers to the Israeli Defense Force, Shin Bet, the Mossad, which is the Israeli CIA and FBI. And of course, we pray for Bibi Netanyahu. We make sure that he is safe. But we will keep you abreast of what's going on in Israel right now as we speak. But again, we need to celebrate America. And I will be there June 14th at the White House, reporting live from the White House lawn, where President Trump is hoping to give a speech there. I don't know if he will be in his motorcade circling around the parade. I don't think he's going to walk the parade, but I can't speak for him on that. A lot of people, of course, would discourage him from walking in the parade or being in a car with an open hood, driving through the parade. We saw what happened to JFK. But I encourage everybody, if they're in DC, to go to this parade and wear your American gear. And we'll show the image of what I'll be wearing. And there it is. So I have an American flag dress. I will be decked with Americanism and patriotism. And I will be singing it loud and proud. And I will be singing the national anthem. And I will be happy to be a part of this celebration with President Trump. Again, I have no fear. And neither should any of you. Again, guys, don't forget, we have a wonderful network. We have so many events going on, so many things. Please, guys, please follow us on all of our social media platforms. Please follow us on X at America's Pulse Network, at America's Pulse Network on Rumble, at America's Pulse Network on YouTube. And now we are on Truth Social at America's Pulse Network. And don't forget about our good friend Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. He has a GoFundMe where we are raising money for him. The poor guy was in the hospital for 34 days. He's had 5 surgeries on his foot. He had a very bad infection in his foot, almost lost his foot. But he is a veteran. He served our Navy. You have to give back to the people that served us. And he's raised over $6,400. The goal is $25K. The ultimate goal is $100K. Please, guys, every dollar counts to helping this man recover. He's got a son to support. He's got bills to pay. He hasn't really been able to work. He just got back to work recently, but the money, it doesn't flow as quickly. So please, guys, anything you can do, if it's $10, $50, I can tell you the average, donation is $100 to $150. Please, guys, if you can do that and more, we've had a lot of veterans that have donated to him. Please, guys. And don't forget to watch his show, The Conservative Corner, every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. We call him Popeye the Sailor Man. He is back on the network. He is back. He is here with us, The Conservative Corner. We love him. Seth Eisenberg, every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. We love him. And also don't forget to watch him on The Pulse. We have a brand new show, The Pulse. The Pulse is doing great. We've had 20,000 to 40,000 views. It has gotten such great buzz. We have a panel of 5, sometimes 4, depending on the day, depending on the week. And we have great people that are on the show too. A special guest, Elena Barber from The Base Mother, and Tim Fazenbaker, America One, Tim Faze on X. But please watch the show, guys, every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. That's Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. The Pulse. If you didn't watch last night's show, Seth Eisenberg was hosting the show. He was a great host. Go back on our X. And we'll also be reposting the show as well, so you guys won't miss a beat. And of course, don't forget to watch The Jersey Shore with Damon Galdo, Monday nights from 8 to 10 p.m., as well as Friday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. We're literally booked Monday through Sunday. Saturday is usually our repeated show. We are expanding our network. We will be getting more podcasters on our network. We literally are Monday through Sunday. So please, guys, don't miss out. Don't miss out. And again, I have my good friend, Allison Reedy. She has a Give, Send, Go for her son. I can tell you, thank you so much for your donations. Because of this network, she has been getting donations. No other network is really getting the donations except hers. Thanks so much. GiveSendGo.com/constitutional for her son, Dylan. All her son wants to do is go to college in Utah. It's out-of-state tuition. She lives in Michigan. It's a very expensive school. Please, guys, donate to this young man. He was wrongfully accused of being a domestic terrorist. He was found not guilty, thank God, by proper people. But he deserves to go to college. He deserves to live the American dream. Please, guys, a little goes a long way. People have been giving her $10, $50, $100. The more you give, the better it is for good cause. Please follow her Facebook group page, My Son on the Altar. Very important group, Facebook group page. You can see the love that she pours into her child and her children. She has more than one child, and she's a loving husband as well. Great family. Her son just graduated high school. He's going off to college. This money will help her and help the family. Thank you so much, guys. Please continue to donate to her. She said to me today, oh my God, Alexandra, the work that you do is really helping to get this money out for my son. So we thank you for that. And again, guys, please continue to watch our network. As the promos were during our show, I am the White House correspondent for this network. We are not fake news. We are not mainstream media. We are the new conservative media at the White House. We will always report fairly and honestly. We support President Trump. We support his policies. Any question that I ask him, any question that I ask Caroline Levitt or I email her, it's always a positive question. It's always a thank you, President Trump, for what you're doing. Thank you, Caroline Levitt, for what you're doing. They appreciate that. They love that. It is an honor to be in the White House, on the White House lawn. There's people that have done this a lot longer than me that do not have White House press credentials. I thank her. I thank the team for bestowing her trust in me to report fairly and honestly. I'm not CNN, definitely not NPR, PBS. We're definitely not MSNBC or MSDNC, as President Trump calls it. And we're not going to ask stupid questions like that one reporter asked at the press meeting the other day, where she said, if there's peaceful protests on June 14th, combating, the parade, is President Trump going to be okay with that? It was like the dumbest question on earth. Like, I could not believe she asked that question. I thank Caroline Levitt for calling her out for asking a stupid question. But there's a lot of stupid questions that are asked at the White House, including Caitlin Collins, the moron from the Clinton News Network. She asked the dumbest questions, and she interrupts too, and she's rude. So if you want fair reporting, if you want honest reporting, you can always reach out to me, Alexandra Levine, on Facebook. I'm at Alexandra Levi 20 on X, at Air Levine 85 on Rumble, at Air Levine 85 on Instagram, at AR Levine 85 on True Social, and at Levine Consulting on YouTube. Again, guys, I also own my own political consulting firm. If you are a serious candidate that is serious about winning, we are getting into the election cycle. Elections are November of next year. That's the general. November 2026, next year. Please, guys, reach out to me for a consultation, levineconsulting.co. That's levineconsulting.co. The beauty of me is I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a special interest. I'm not bought and paid for by anybody. I am my own entity. I created this political consulting firm a couple years ago. I've gotten some big names in office, and I've worked with a lot of big names. So please, guys, reach out to me at any time. And again, we will keep you abreast of what's going on in Israel. Again, our hearts go out to the people in Israel. Again, Israel's begun preemptive strikes on Iran. Israel declare state of emergency. This was actually talked about a couple days ago. It was talked about yesterday, how Iran and Israel may be getting into it. And, people are saying, oh, Bibi Netanyahu is going against President Trump and so forth. Let me tell you something. President Trump and Bibi Netanyahu talk on a daily basis. If you don't think that President Trump knows what's been going on over in the Middle East, you're dead wrong. This was talks in the making. This was things happening in the making. But again, we need to support and stand with our biggest ally, Israel. You are not pledging allegiance to a foreign nation by supporting your biggest ally, Israel. Don't forget that. Remember, down below, I wear the dress with the Israeli flag, but as you notice, I hold the American flag up high because I'm putting the two together. I'm putting Israel and I'm putting America together, and there is nothing wrong with that. President Trump is one of the most pro-Israel presidents we've ever had in the history of our nation. Again, if you want to know what's really going on in Israel, do not listen to the propaganda. You can listen to Bibi Netanyahu personally. You can listen to the natives like Yocheved Ruttenberg and Ashari and many other native. Avi Abelo, he's a good friend of mine. He's in the IDF. You could read about him. You can talk to me about what's going on in Israel. You can look up my friend Ron Dermer. Ron Dermer works directly under Bibi Netanyahu to know exactly what's going on in Israel. Stop reading into the propaganda. People are calling Bibi Netanyahu a warmonger, and he's not listening to Trump, and there's animosity and strife between Netanyahu and Trump. That's BS. That's BS. But President Trump is the peacemaker. He will bring the peace. He doesn't want these wars to continue. But he has been talking to Netanyahu, working with his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, to bring the peace in the Middle East. But whatever's going on between Israel and Iran, that's between Israel and Iran. America has to get involved, they get involved. But I can tell you that the president has been on top of this. He knows what's been going on over there. He doesn't turn a blind eye to this. Believe me. We have troubles at home. Now we have troubles in the Middle East. We have troubles in Europe too. We have troubles in other places as well. We have troubles in Ukraine and Russia. But guys, again, stop reading into the propaganda. It's very important that we don't read into the propaganda. But again, this has been an amazing hour. Again, I'm just going to remind our viewers to go to Sword of Iron Israel Volunteer Opportunities. Please look up Yocheved Ruttenberg. Please get involved. Again, Jews and non-Jews can be involved in this. It's a very great organization. We must help our biggest ally, Israel. We must stand and support them. And don't be afraid to celebrate America on Saturday. I hope everybody will be there. Thank you again, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.